What's up? It's Kurcher85, and I'm back with another video. Do y'all like my new shirt? Do y'all like my new coffee stain that I got on my new shirt? I hope y'all like it. But I'm not talking about my new shirt today, okay? We're talking about a movie that has recently come out and has been under a lot of fire. Like a lot of fire. And I think I need to talk about it because I didn't feel that much when I watched it, but seeing the very intense response to this movie has made me just want to talk about it because, whoa, let's chill. So today I'm talking about him, that one, and written and directed by Jordan Peele. Psych! You motherfuckers. I have talked to so many people that genuinely think that this is directed by Jordan Peele, that this is like from the mind of Jordan Peele. Bro, do like 2 seconds of thinking and maybe 2 seconds of using your eyeballs and watching the, in retrospect, horrendous trailer that says that he's like a producer. No, wait, does it say from the mind of Jordan Peele? That is something I want to talk about because the marketing for this movie, when it was coming out, I was like, oh, that trailer is sick. That trailer is so good. And looking back, I think it's a definite, like, instance of, like, the trailer making it seem a lot bigger and more than it was. And also saying from the mind of Jordan Peele was just such a bad idea. Like, just the worst idea. And, you know, the poster for this movie, like, kind of is just like, so it gives away so much. But so I think when people went into this movie, they were expecting this super high-class football horror movie by Jordan Peele on par with like Nope and stuff. And, you know, we should be expecting good horror movies, but I think going into this expecting a Jordan Peele horror movie and then getting what it ended up being let so many people down to where and then also it's just become such a dog pile, and so people are just ragging on this movie. I think it has like a 2.6 on Letterboxd, which is just like crazy to me. And I've seen like some half-star reviews that are like, I really left my house for this. Like I really like took time to see this. And I'm like, let's calm down a little bit, because here's my take, is that it is not the worst thing ever, okay? Crazy take, I know, but it's a football horror movie. Okay, it is a football horror movie. I bet you didn't know. But it goes into a lot more than just like football and what like the football fandom is like. Like that is a lot of it, but like there's definitely a lot of things in here about like toxic masculinity and like generational kind of like trauma-ish. And something just whizzed past me. Can we get this lighting going? Thank you. And, like, I think it's a lot more deeper than just, like, football people are crazy, which is true. And I think is something that's, like, an interesting, even that alone would be an interesting movie, in my opinion. But I think kind of just writing this off as, like, oh, they were going crazy with the football stuff. It's like, okay, well, it's obviously trying to do a little bit more than just the football stuff. And this movie genuinely has a lot more redeeming factors than people are giving any sort of credit for. The performances in this are so good. Like, Tyreek Withers, like, bodies this. Like, I'm not kidding, I think he bodies this. And then, what's his name? That's the main guy. I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting his name. He kills it, too. He, like, holds a lot of this film together with just, like, how insane and, like, absurd his performance is. It's really fun to watch. And Julia Fox, as well, is so good and is so funny. Like, another movie where she's just kind of, like, playing herself. And I love it. I think it's so funny. And there's a certain thing that happens with her at the end that is, like, one of the funniest things I've seen, like, recently. Like, it is so funny. And, like, I think that's another thing, is that this movie is pretty funny. Like, there's a lot of really funny moments in this, which is just something I thought I'd mention. It's more funny than people are giving it credit for. And it's also, like, really beautifully shot. Like, it looks very pretty. It is, like, gorgeous to look at, I think, in my opinion. And I think there's some, like, really striking imagery in the film, that like the mascot and the ending, and it's just like it feels very unique in its like visuals and at a lot of times. And then, you know, because there could have been a very like straightforward like way that they could have done it. They could have shot the whole movie how some of it is shot, like a commercial, kind of like a sports commercial, where some of it is shot like that, but then there's like these jarring like turns in it that I think work really well and like are very jarring and at a lot of times. There's also some pretty like intense, like maybe not intense, but there's a lot of needles in this movie, and I hate needles. Like that's one of the things in movies where I have to look away. Like one of the few things that happens in movies. Like everything else in this movie I was fine, but needles, man, I couldn't stand it. So, but yeah, there's some pretty like gnarly things that happen in this movie. That happen that I think are cool, and like, what the hell? And yeah, last thing I'll say that I like really liked about this was just like the setting of this like sports place. It feels so real. It feels like a place that really does exist, and it's very like fucked up, and there's a lot of like really weird like places in it, but it all feels like this is totally something that like football players would fucking have for no reason, you know? I don't know. And yeah, that's what I liked about this. But I'm sorry about the noise in this video. I already know it's gonna be crazy with the cars, but like this wind is going crazy as well. But I'm willing to meet y'all halfway though, because this movie is not great. Okay, it's not perfect at all, and there's a lot of things to really hate on with this. I do think that people are taking those and running with it, but there is a lot to hate on with this movie. I'll get to first. I'll get to just like broadly, the screenplay as a whole is very hollow and very one note. It's very like, as much as it does try to do things with its other themes, which I think it does do successfully in some instances, there's a lot of times where those get kind of ignored to kind of focus on the football equals religion like storyline, and that is interesting for like 2 minutes, and it quickly falls off. But they really do keep beating this dead horse of all this symbolism and imagery and so much dialogue about how football is religion and Tyreek Withers is like Jesus, and like how Shamik Moore is like God, and I think that's who it is, right? It is so much, and it gets to a point where I'm just like, I get it. It is, I get it. That type of thing, where it kind of has one thing and it kind of just keeps throwing it at your face until it's like, do you get it? And it's like, yeah, I fucking got it. I got it like half an hour ago, okay? And that's something that just like really was like really getting on to me this whole movie. And another thing is like, there's a lot of stuff. Okay, I'm gonna start getting into spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie yet, I would just go see it. I think horror movies need to be getting as much love in the box office as they can. So go see it. I think it's a fun time. See with friends. And yeah, it's a good little like first horror movie too, if you're like not big into horror. But yeah, spoilers from here on out. There's a lot of stuff in this movie with injecting and drugs, and specifically like hallucinogenics and just like hallucinations that are throughout this movie and serve as kind of the main scares for like the middle to end of this movie. And every single time it comes across flat and annoying, except maybe the first time, because hallucination scares are so easy to overdo and be annoying, and this film does really fall into that of just like, it was a hallucination the whole time. That shit is not scary, and it's also never really like too clear on like what the point of these hallucinations are, like why he's like making him hallucinate, except for just like the magic of it all and like wearing him down type shit. But it really goes nowhere and feels like a way to kind of extend this already short movie. Which I do like. Again, I'm gonna say another thing I like, is that this is a very trim 90 minutes, which is so, I miss it. I miss that. But yeah. And then, yeah, the writing, I think the first part of this movie, the first kind of act of this movie is really solid. And it does fall off, I think, near the middle and right before the climax. Just really falls off and feels very, like, structured in this, like, days of the week thing that doesn't really, like, do anything. Not much really happens in this movie. I was vibing with it a lot of the time, and I think that does come down to, like, preference. If you were wanting, like, a lot of things to be happening constantly, this isn't really gonna happen. There's just a lot of, like, tenseness and just kind of, like, sitting with Tyreek Withers, or, Tyreek, and just, like, meditating on it. And, you know, me personally, like, I kind of vibe with that, but I do understand how you can be misled from, like, the marketing and, like, all this shit, but I personally didn't, like, hate it as much, but there were still parts where I was like, okay, this is kind of going nowhere. Then you do get to the ending, and there's a fight scene between Tyreek Withers and Shameik Moore that was all right. It was shot really cool. There's X-ray shots throughout this whole movie that are really cool, really, really cool to watch, and, like, genuinely impressive, I think, and, like, match the vibe really well, that you've probably seen in the trailer if you've seen it. But I think this fight scene ultimately just feels, like, kind of anticlimactic, and is like, alright, that had to happen so that way this ending could happen. And then the ending happens, and the main people in this movie, like, that are controlling it are these, like, higher up white dudes that all are like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna move. So the main villains in this movie are, like, higher up white dudes that, you know, it, like, makes sense that would be the villain of the movie, and, like, I think it works, kind of, but these guys are so underdeveloped and feel so, like, not there. And so whenever they're, like, sitting there in their thrones and they're like, ba 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 ba, I'm like, I don't remember you. I remember the last guy. And I think Shameik Moore should have been a part of the finale of this movie. But, you know, the finale comes up, and I do kind of like the whole, like, revenge goes crazy on him. It doesn't really make sense to me. Like, are all of these cheerleaders and drumline people also, like, in on this? Or, like, because I thought it was only supposed to be a certain few people that know, but they'll, like, get cheerleaders and stuff to do this part. I don't know, but, you know, I like whenever he grabs it and he kills everybody, and it's fun, it's pretty brutal. And, like, again, it looks beautiful. Like, there's a specific shot of, like, blood splattering onto Tyreek Withers that just, like, looks gorgeous, in my opinion. I think it just looks beautiful. And that, you know, that's consistent throughout the whole movie. It's beautiful the whole time. But yeah, there's just so many things in this movie that are very, like, underdeveloped and not put to their fullest extent. Like, the whole mascot thing. That mascot is such a cool and unique design, and it really just goes nowhere at all, except for the opening. And it is so sad, because I feel like there's a lot of wasted potential that could have done with more runtime, but also I think just should have been thought out more and, like, looked at harder whenever they were making it. But I think the direction is really good. I think it's shot well. I think it's a solid film, and I think if you're, like, curious about it, just go see it. But don't expect, like, what was given in the trailers, really, because it's different than that. But yeah, I think I would say go see it. I just said that, but yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. I appreciate you for watching, and go watch him and figure out what you think about it. If you genuinely hate it and think it's the worst movie that came out this year, that's fine. I just disagree. Like, Megan 2.0 came out this year. Materialist came out this year. Like, what's another horror movie? Like, Hurry Up, that's not a horror movie. Hurry Up Tomorrow came out this year. Like, this is a pretty bad year for a lot of movies, sadly. But, like, him is not the worst offender. It is doing things that are different, and that at least has to be appreciated a little bit, you know? But that's just my take. That's my take. The Monkey came out this year. That shit was ass. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today. I appreciate you for watching. Kurtcher85 out.